Imagine a number, 3,000. 3,000 German fighter pilots shot down over British soil during the Battle of Britain. These were not amateurs. This was the elite of the Luftwaffe, men trained to master machines and ignore death. But when they touched the ground in England, no glory awaited them. What awaited them was the island prison. Great Britain is a fortress. Surrounded by the freezing North Sea, guarded by the most powerful navy in the world, the MI5, and a population that hated every German. Churchill said, "From this net no fish escapes." And he was right, almost right, because in the statistics of war there is an anomaly, a glitch in the system. Of all these thousands of prisoners rotting in the camps, exactly one single man managed to escape, cross the Atlantic, and march back into Berlin. This man had no gun. He had no compass when he started. He had no allies. He had only one quality that is more dangerous than any weapon: an absolute, almost insane audacity. He didn't just break out. He turned his escape into a show. He lied, he cheated, he stole airplanes, he jumped from trains moving at full speed into the ice deserts of Canada. His name was Franz von Werra, and this is the story of how a single man made fools of two world powers. To understand how someone survives such a thing, you have to understand what kind of guy Franz von Werra was. He was not a gray soldier who followed orders. He was a rock star. Imagine a young, good-looking guy, always a grin on his face. The press loved him. Why? Because he had a mascot. Other pilots had dogs or cats. Franz von Werra had a lion, a real, living lion named Simba. He bought him as a baby, raised him on the base, let him sit in the cockpit of his Messerschmitt for photos. That says everything about him. He was not afraid of predators. He was the predator. But on September 5, 1940, the gambler's luck ran out. We are over Kent, southern England. The air is burning. Spitfires against Messerschmitts. Von Werra is chasing an opponent. Suddenly, a bang. Bullets riddle his engine. Oil sprays onto the windshield. The propeller stutters and stands still. The silence afterwards is the worst part. Only the whistling of the wind. He has to go down. He sees a field. He slams into the ground. Dirt sprays up. The landing gear breaks away. In the moment the dust settles, he is surrounded. A local policeman and farmers with pitchforks are standing there. Then comes the military. Von Werra does not raise his hands, trembling. He climbs out, brushes the dust off his flight jacket, and demands to speak to the officer in charge. He is taken to London, the interrogation center, Cockfosters. Here, they break pilots, not with violence, but with psychology. But Von Werra turns the tables. He sits across from the British interrogation officer, Major Rawlinson. Rawlinson says, "The war is over for you, Franz." Von Werra leans back, lights a cigarette, and says, "Want to bet?" He bets a case of Magnum champagne that he will escape. Rawlinson laughs. No one escapes from the island. He did not know that he had just made a bet against the Houdini of the Luftwaffe. He arrives at the Swanwick officer camp. Most prisoners fall into depression. They write letters, they wait. Von Werra works. He tries the classic way first. He digs a tunnel. For weeks, they dig in the dirt like moles. They break out. In the middle of the night, in pouring rain. But freedom tastes short. Sirens wail. Searchlights cut through the darkness, dogs bark. They are caught, completely filthy and exhausted. Just 21 days in solitary confinement. In this dark, cold cell, isolated from the world, Von Werra has an epiphany. He thinks, why do we fail? Because we hide. Whoever hides looks guilty. His new plan is so bold that it is almost suicide. He does not want to sneak. He wants to stroll. He wants to pass himself off as a crashed Dutch pilot flying for the Royal Air Force. But for that, he needs papers. And here begins the part that sounds like something out of a MacGyver movie. He has nothing in his cell. How do you make an ID card? He takes toilet paper and glues it together layer by layer until it feels like cardboard. He needs ink. He uses shoe polish and soot from a candle. He writes the text in perfect bureaucratic English. But the most important thing is missing. The official stamp. Without a stamp, an ID is worthless. A stamp is made of rubber. He has no rubber, but he got a turnip for lunch, a simple turnip. For days, he carves away at this turnip with a broken piece of metal until it shows the crest of the Royal Air Force. He stamps the toilet paper. It looks real. He calls himself Captain Van Lot. On December 20th, 1940, the show begins. The other prisoners stage a brawl at the gate to distract the guards. Von Werra climbs over the fence. He lands on the other side. He does not run away. He brushes off the dirt, smooths out his flight suit, and walks to the road. He looks like a pilot who is just coming home from work. It is night. He is standing on a country road in England. A train approaches, a locomotive transporting coal. Von Werra steps onto the tracks and waves. The driver brakes. He thinks it is an emergency. Von Werra climbs up and screams against the noise of the steam. "I am Captain Van Lot. Crashed. I need to get to Hucknall Airfield immediately." The driver believes him. He drives him to the nearest station. There, he meets the police. And the police believe him too. "Oh, an Allied pilot. Come on. We will drive you to the base." Imagine this irony. The British police are driving the escaped Nazi pilot directly into the heart of a British military base. They arrive at Hucknall Airfield. Von Werra strolls into the officers' mess. He orders scrambled eggs and bacon. He flirts with the waitress. He complains to the commander, "My plane is scrap. I have to get back to my unit in Aberdeen. Give me a machine for the return flight." The commander, Squadron Leader Boniface, is tired. It is early in the morning. He asks, "Do you have papers?" Von Werra pulls the lump of toilet paper and turnip stamp out of his pocket. In the dim light, it looks real. Boniface nods. "Okay, the adjutant will take you to a Hurricane." Von Werra walks out onto the tarmac. There she stands. A Hawker Hurricane. A fighter plane. Fully fueled, loaded with ammunition. His ticket to freedom. He climbs onto the wing. He sits in the cockpit. He smells the oil, the leather. He feels the joystick. He is only one button press away from taking off. But the cockpit is foreign. Where is the starter? Where is the battery? He fumbles with the switches. A mechanic climbs up to him. "Sir, are you having trouble?" Von Werra laughs nervously. These new models." In exactly this moment, while he is searching for the start button, the phone rings in the commander's office. A routine check. "Do we have a Captain Van Lot?" "No." "Do we have a Dutch pilot reported missing?" "No." The blood freezes in the commander's veins. He runs out onto the tarmac. He draws his service pistol. Von Werra has just started the engine. The propeller begins to turn. Whoosh, whoosh. The commander jumps onto the wing and holds the gun to his temple. "Get out immediately!" Von Werra turns off the engine. He raises his hands. He looks at the commander and grins broadly. "That was close," he says. "He lost. But what a game it was." The British are shocked. This man is too dangerous for the island. He is too smart. They make a decision. Get rid of him. To Canada. Canada is the Alcatraz of the North. Thousands of kilometers of wilderness, snow, bears, and wolves. In January 1941, he is loaded onto a ship. The crossing is a horror. U-boat alarms, storms, sickness. They land in Halifax, Nova Scotia. It is winter, a Canadian winter, minus 20 degrees. The wind cuts like razor blades. The prisoners are crammed into a train. Destination: a camp north of Lake Superior, in the middle of nowhere. Von Werra looks out the window. Only white. Endless white forests. He knows that if the train arrives at the camp, the game is over. No one escapes alive from the camp in the north. He has to jump, now, while moving. The train rattles through the night. The windows are iced over from the frost. That is his advantage. He and his comrades forge a plan. They wait until the guards at the end of the wagon are distracted or dozing. The heating in the train is steaming. Visibility is poor. A comrade spreads his coat as if to air it out, blocking the guard's view. Von Werra and another break the ice on the window. They push it up. The noise of the train drowns out the cracking of the ice. A blast of Arctic air hits them in the face. The train is traveling at about 50 kilometers per hour. Outside is darkness. He does not know what is there. Rocks? Trees? A cliff? He does not hesitate. He climbs onto the window ledge. He turns around, holds onto the frame. He lets go. He falls into the black void. The impact is brutal. He lands in a deep snowdrift. He tumbles, loses orientation. The train rattles on, the red taillights disappear into the distance. Then silence. Absolute, deadly silence. He stands up, he is alive, but he is standing in the middle of the Canadian wilderness. He is wearing his German Luftwaffe uniform. He has no coat. He has no weapon. He has only a small pocket compass and a few bars of chocolate. And he has a plan. To the south lies the USA. The USA is still neutral in 1941. If he reaches the border, he is free. What follows now is a survival story that beats every Hollywood movie. He walks. He sinks up to his waist in the snow. Every step is a battle. The cold attacks his ears. They turn white, then numb. He knows that is the first stage of frostbite. He takes snow and rubs them until the skin is bloody and the feeling returns. He does this 7 times that night. The next day, he encounters a lumberjack camp. This is the moment of greatest danger. If they realize he is German, they will turn him in. He walks up to the men, he plays the fool. He says in broken English, "I am Dutch sailor, missed my ship." Walking to Montreal. The lumberjacks are simple people. They have no idea about the war in Europe. They only see a poor idiot lost in the forest. They give him hot milk. They show him the way to the river. He reaches the St. Lawrence River. The final obstacle. The river is huge, and in winter it is a death trap. It is partially frozen, but the current tears the ice open again and again. On the other side, he sees lights. That is America. He finds an abandoned rowboat on the shore. It is heavy, full of ice. He drags it into the water. He begins to row. The wind on the river is murderous. Ice flows ram the small boat. Crack, boom. If the wood breaks, he is dead. In the water, he survives no more than 3 minutes. In the middle of the river, it happens. The boat gets stuck. The ice surrounds it. He cannot go forward or backward. He has to get out. In the middle of the river, in the darkness, he climbs onto an ice floe. The ice crunches under his boots. He pushes the boat over the ice until he finds open water again. He is at the end of his strength. His hands are frozen claws. He is hallucinating, but he does not give up. Finally, the keel crunches on sand. He falls out of the boat. He crawls up the bank. He sees a car. Headlights blind him. It is a police car. An American police officer gets out, hand on his gun. Von Werra straightens up as best he can. He sways. But in this moment, he is the Baron again. He says, "I am Franz von Werra, officer of the German Luftwaffe. I have escaped from Canada." He had made it. Since the USA was neutral, they could not extradite him to the British. He was free. He became a sensation. He lived in the Waldorf Astoria in New York. He gave interviews. He told his story to anyone who listened. But he knew the British Secret Service was hunting him. He had to keep moving. Via Mexico, Brazil, Spain, and Italy, he fought his way through until he reached Berlin on April 18, 1941. He was welcomed like a god. Hitler awarded him the Knight's Cross. He got married. He got his case of champagne. He could have retired. He was a hero. But Franz von Werra was addicted to flying. He wanted back to the front, back to the fight. Fate has a cruel sense of humor. The man who had defeated England, the Atlantic, the Canadian ice desert, and the St. Lawrence River died due to a technical defect. On October 25, 1941, just a few months after his return, his plane crashed during a routine flight over the North Sea. The engine failed. No enemy fire, just silence. His body was never found. The sea, which he had once defeated, claimed him in the end. Why do we tell this story? Because Franz von Werra teaches us that impossible is just a word. No matter how thick the walls are, no matter how cold the ice is, as long as you breathe, there is a way out. Sometimes you need a plan for that. And sometimes you just need a turnip and a hell of a lot of courage.